Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam Livingston, and I am the Bitcoin Wizard. I have another fun video today because we're going to be discussing yet again strategy because it is the greatest company in the world and will for sure be the most valuable company in the world. I know, shocker, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, and I just believe that the company that owns the most Bitcoin is going to be successful. I know, total shocker to you all. And I decided to talk about strategy today because of a few things. One, the USD reserve that came out. Massive news. Now they have $1.44 billion in cash sitting on their balance sheet that will be used to pay the dividends from the preferred equity that has been issued. So I'm going to go through this post that I kind of wrote because I do believe that knowing this info before the rest of the world is the opportunity with MSTR. There is a glaring mispricing with MSTR. I'm going to get into that. And it's amazing. Obviously, this is the most polarizing equity in the history of the world. The stock is down, 54% or something this year, and I still sleep like a baby. I honestly don't even almost care what the equity price is on a day-to-day basis. I know some people will say, Adam, I don't believe you. You always check the price. I really don't. I find out about it when I'm on X, people complaining about it all the time. But this is a long-term directional bet on Bitcoin, and I could not be more sold because when we look at the balance sheet of the company, they are structurally unassailable, which means that they have built a foundation that literally cannot crumble, given that you buy the Bitcoin thesis, of course. This company is more financially strong than any other company that I can think of, and I'm going to dive into the details. But before I do, I would love to give a quick thank you to Horizon for sponsoring this video. If you guys didn't know this, Horizon helps you take your home equity, and they help you take that home equity, and you can literally just buy Bitcoin with it. How amazing is that? Your home equity, it's not really doing a lot for you compared to a compound annual growth rate that Bitcoin can provide. I had some clown leave a comment saying, Adam, I can't believe that you would plug somebody that helps you use your home equity to buy Bitcoin of all things. Well, if you understand Bitcoin, it becomes a no-brainer. So obviously, the products wouldn't apply to anybody who's not in my own audience. Anyway, join Horizon.com. They're amazing. They help you every single step of the way. Check them out. Link in the description below. I'll talk more about them at the end of the video. So there's a few things I want to go over. I'm going to talk about this little post that I wrote today. Actually, it's quite a long post, but that's going to be fun. Then we're going to look at Strategy's actual balance sheet on their website just to kind of help back up my whole thesis about how risk is mispriced, how the credit ratings are ridiculous, why Strategy is the most powerful company in the world, and it seems like the world's still asleep to that. So we're going to dive right in why Strategy's B- credit rating is now undeniably ridiculous. Now, I love the move from Strategy Management to form that $1.44 billion cash reserve. The fact that the company showed that you can pay almost 2 years of dividends with demand for their common equity over only 8 days or a week, something like that, 7 or 8 trading days, at only a 10 to 15% premium that their stock was trading at, the premium to their net asset value. They raised almost 2 years of dividends that quickly. And what's been the predominant complaint about Strategy? How were they going to pay their dividends? Well, they just raised 2 years of dividends literally in a week. Just think of what regular companies out there have to do to raise $1.5 billion with their operating businesses. They raised that much money at a very small percentage of the trading volume of their stock. And now they have a reserve with almost 2 years of dividend payments in US dollars, as well as 71 years in Bitcoin. Right here, 74.1 years of dividend coverage in Bitcoin, 21.4 months of dividend coverage in USD. And what's important to really think about now is that you have to think about what Strategy could do to scale their USD buffer even further. Because the main reason that I loved this pivot so quickly is that they pivoted like a little over 30 days from when they got their credit rating. S&P Global gave them the answers to the test. They said that we are concerned about your dollar liquidity. And then Michael Saylor and Fong, what they've done is amazing because what they're doing, they're on the frontier trying to fight for new methodologies of credit ratings, while also trying to win in the old paradigm. So that must be a very difficult challenge, and they seem to be doing a very good job of having, a foot in both camps, so to speak. And the credit rating is obviously important because their credit rating, just the B-, that opened trillions of dollars of potential capital. that could flow into Bitcoin. And the bucket is even bigger once they get, an investment grade rating. So this is very important that they addressed the criteria in a mere matter of weeks. They have a liquidity buffer of US dollars that rivals the cash balances of Fortune 50 companies that they raised in 7 to 8 days, to be clear. And if you guys want to, check out True North that just came out on Wednesday. They literally say this exact thing. They're saying that this is proving that the business model works. Now, the fact that there is this much liquid cash on the balance sheet, even if you are using the outdated frameworks from the credit rating agencies, the most absurd mispricing in corporate credit markets is now a lot more obvious. We're going to get into the details, but the rating simply has to be higher. So we're going to talk about this thing that I'm calling the liquidity paradox. Because right now, Strategy holds more dollar liquidity than companies that are rated 5 notches higher. So I'm going to compare Strategy to 2 other companies with a B- credit rating at first. Then I'm going to open up the comparison a little bit to get a more broad picture, but I'm going to use these first. And I've talked about JetBlue before, so I'm also going to be talking about Uniti Group as another comparison. So when it comes to their unrestricted cash, MSTR now has 1.44 billion, JetBlue has 2.4 billion, and Uniti has about 3/4 billion. Then when it comes to the debt, the actual debt that's on the balance sheet, MSTR has 8.22 billion of convertible debt, Blue has close to the same amount of 8.4 billion, and Uniti has about $6 billion of debt. And then the important part here, you have to look at the additional liquid assets that are on a company's balance sheet, okay? MSTR has 650,000 Bitcoin exactly, which is $59 billion worth of Bitcoin. That is the most liquid asset on Earth. You need to remember the liquidity paradox, okay? We're going to be talking about liquidity. How easily can you liquidate your assets if you need to pay for a dividend obligation? So just based off these numbers, Strategy can pay off every single creditor 7 times over with their on-balance sheet assets. Now, why is this important? Because Strategy already has the money. JetBlue and Uniti, because they are funding an operating business, they need to survive quarter to quarter with their cyclical cash flows and also a prayer to God. And you can look at the net leverage to paint a very clearer picture here. So using the formula of debt minus cash minus the liquid BTC divided by the enterprise value, that's how you get your net leverage number. The answer is that right now Strategy has an 11% net leverage. That can be confirmed by their little website right here. You guys can't see it, of course, so I gotta make this smaller. Right here, Strategy 11% net leverage. JetBlue 35 to 40% net leverage, and Uniti 70%. Now remember, the assets that they own are extremely illiquid. Right now, Strategy is a company that could extinguish all of their debt tomorrow with the push of a button. And the other 2 companies would literally collapse without this perpetual refinancing games that these other corporate entities need to play. And the S&P 500 is filled with these companies that need this constant refinancing, debt restructuring nonsense just to stay in business. And guess what? These companies, yes, they have the exact same credit rating. Very interesting. And now for the big part, I want to talk about the pre-funded obligations versus praying for cash flow. I did touch on this just now, but remember, Strategy's obligations are pre-funded. They have the money in cash, and they also have the money in Bitcoin. These other companies, they are praying that the business just keeps up. They are praying for cash flow. So you guys have to think of all the credit ratings agencies, okay? Their models, they are looking at discounted cash flows. Are the cash flows coming in so they can pay their dividends? So some intern at Moody's is going to type in their little numbers for Strategy, see, oh, the operating income from their software business isn't a lot, and they have all of these dividends to pay out. Well, this isn't going to work. So the outdated model is literally unable to model this, which is just the reality of the situation. The rating doesn't make sense because the model doesn't apply here. Strategy doesn't have to bet on getting the money because they already have the money. It's already in the vault. Think about how less risky that is. Would you rather take a fixed income product from a government that is going insolvent or a company that just went bankrupt that you need to pray will somehow stay open for another 4 years or 10 years or 20 years or 30 years? Or would you rather take it from a company that's capitalized on an asset that is designed to go up forever in perpetuity because the thing that it's denominated in is designed to go down forever. The US dollar is terminal, remember that? And a couple other pointers, JetBlue, they eliminated their dividends entirely in 2020 because they couldn't pay them. Uniti Group slashed its dividend by half in 2024, and they barely cover their obligations with their business with their existing cash. The ratings agencies that are out there, they reward companies that promise to generate cash. What's better, the promise to generate cash or the fact that somebody has the cash? So they're penalizing the company that already has the cash sitting there. Now, some people have called me the Billy Mays of Bitcoin. But wait, there's more, because obviously we need to take the quality of the assets into consideration. As worthless, the gap between Strategy's actual credit reality, their credit worthiness, their solvency risk, and its credit rating is the largest mispricing in modern corporate debt markets, and it's not even close. The B- rating is not a warning to investors. That is a warning about the ratings agencies. This giant mispricing is what undermines a lot of my investment thesis in Strategy. So that, coupled with me just wanting to be directionally long on Bitcoin and short fiat, and I'm certain of Bitcoin's trajectory, that's just my level of confidence, it doesn't have to be yours, but I like to make a leveraged bet on a certainty in my mind. That's correct. If you know Bitcoin's going up, why wouldn't you want to make a leveraged bet on a certainty? The reality is that the math checks out. If you have intelligent leverage, if you have what Strategy calls Bitcoin amplification, and you have that on top of an asset that already performs really well, the math just tells you it is an incredible long-term play. I don't care about swings in the price on a daily, weekly, monthly, or honestly, even a yearly basis, if I'm being totally honest. And I've talked a lot about this on the channel, going over BTC factor and how much your Bitcoin per share increases in the common equity over longer periods of time using that Bitcoin amplification. I've talked a lot about that. I don't know what videos I've talked about it in. There's like at least 5 or 6 of them. You can go see why I am just bullish on the company just regarding that. But ultimate point I want to make, it's over long durations of time, very long durations of time. We saw the stock hit an all-time high last November, and then the stock just got deleveraged, and we learned that the market likes to reward MSTR with the multiple when there's leverage, because the reason for buying MSTR was, hey, you want a leveraged bet on Bitcoin. But now there's other ways to make a leveraged bet on Bitcoin. So I think we did see a lot of people exit the trade. But that said, the entire strategy of Strategy, it changed this year. They are going all in on digital credit. If you don't see that hundreds of trillions of dollars opportunity and you're still investing in the thing from a mindset of wanting a quick turnaround with a leveraged bet on Bitcoin, I don't think that you're holding the correct equity, if I'm being honest with you. That's why I honestly think I'm bullish as anybody. But if you're going to complain about the price movements after a massive deleveraging and you just don't like that other people are selling it and you don't understand the thesis, the new strategy, then you should just sell your shares. Why would you own shares in a company that you don't understand the thesis of? If you would have sat through Strategy's earnings call, it was very obvious what their strategy is. They communicate it very well. I think it's the most incredible situation in modern capital markets. I'm honored to be a part of it, if I'm being honest. And I just have this genuine excitement about the opportunity. That's why I am so passionate about it, because Michael Saylor and Strategy, they are spearheading Bitcoin adoption. They are bringing Bitcoin adoption from 20 years into the future into the present. If you want $1 million Bitcoin, the money has to come from somewhere. They are going to strip the volatility of Bitcoin, make it more accessible and liquid and digestible to all kinds of investors, and Bitcoin is going to work for people in the background. The reality is that Bitcoin is a new monetary operating system. It's not just electronic cash. I know it says that in the white paper. It can function as electronic cash, but the reality is, because it's collateral, the best form of collateral, the world will eventually recapitalize on it. Were these things foreseen by Satoshi? I don't know, maybe. A lot of these talks absolutely happened on the Bitcoin forums. Hal Finney himself talked about other currencies being backed by Bitcoin that are issued by banks to solve payment problems. So in my opinion, what we're witnessing with Strategy is literally just the adoption and the monetization of the asset class, and they're doing it faster and they're doing it with more intensity. They're pivoting quickly with where they need to go. I am more than happy with the management's performance. I am more than happy with the long-term direction. Seriously, couldn't be happier. And a lot of people will be like, Adam, you're a Sailor page shill. No, I'm not. I literally just started a Twitter account earlier this year. This is my genuine enthusiasm. I just like to talk about it every day. So if you don't like that, well, just don't listen to me, okay? I'm not trying to keep you here. Anyway, that's what I wanted to discuss today. Many exciting things happening with strategy. There's new news every week, it seems like. Tremendously exciting things. Who knows if they'll release a Canadian preferred soon? Or, maybe somewhere else in the world. They've been cooking up a lot of fun stuff. I mean, the company's raised $30+ billion this year, somewhere in that neighborhood. Who knows? They might raise another couple billion by the time the year is over. Anyway, I really want to thank everyone for your support lately. It has been truly amazing. We are about to rocket past 35,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm almost at 70,000 followers on X. So if you're watching from YouTube, follow me on X. If you're watching from X, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember, I'm on the front lines fighting every single day for the gospel of Bitcoin as well as the gospel of Sailor and strategy. Seriously though, thank you so much. I love interacting with you guys every single day. I'm having the time of my life making content. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please leave a comment with what content you want to see next from me. I love having that dialogue with you guys. I love having a list of content to get to, and what I'm doing really feels like something truly special. I love spreading the truth about Bitcoin, so thank you for giving me the opportunity. Have a terrific day, and do not party too hard. Class dismissed. Once again, a special thanks to Horizon for sponsoring this video. Most people don't realize this, but on average, 60% of American homeowners' net worth is locked up in their primary residence. And with home prices more inflated than ever, Americans now sit on a combined $35 trillion in home equity. Now there's a way to unlock that trapped capital and put it to work in Bitcoin. Horizon helps homeowners unlock a portion of their home equity to buy Bitcoin. It is not a loan, so there are no new monthly payments. You keep living in your home as usual, and then later when you sell, refinance, or choose to settle early, Horizon's provider takes an agreed share of your home's future value. That is the trade. Unlock cash now to stack Bitcoin by selling a slice of your home's future value while you continue living in it. What makes Horizon stand out is that there are no term limits and you keep 100% of the Bitcoin upside. The Bitcoin is fully yours to custody however you want, wherever you want, with no risk of forced liquidation. If you've been sitting on a pile of home equity and are eager to invest in Bitcoin, this may be the product for you. Visit joinhorizon.com to see if you qualify and get started. Their team of experts will work with you one-on-one from start to finish. Transform your dormant home equity into Bitcoin today with Horizon.